Based from Altman in 2001, psycholinguistics, that means psychology of language, is the study of psychological and neurological factors that enable humans to acquire, use, comprehend, and produce language. Interest in psycholinguistics is not confined to psychology and linguistics. Many have been stimulated by its practical possibilities. One thinks of medical application to the diagnosis and treatment. One thinks too of pedagogical application, of potential improvement in our methods for teaching, reading, writing of second language. The field of psycholinguistics has been developed and redefined by reactions to Chomsky. Chomsky's view about creating syntactic sentences was the language exists because human possesses an innate ability, and was highly critical of Skinner's book in 1959. That review started what has been termed the cognitive revolution in psychology. The review of Chomsky still holds that the human ability to use syntax is qualitatively different from any sort of animal communication, and this ability may have resulted from a favorable mutation or from an adaptation of skills evolved for other purposes. Language comprehension is apparently something which is done unconsciously by most humans. It happens when a listener builds a mental representation of information contained within the language that the speaker is using. Dealing with language comprehension, it cannot be separated from its specific components that can be summarized as follows. First one, we have speech processing. As a matter of fact, in the speech processing, the sensory input is constructing as a series of abstract, like auditory, phonetic, and phonological representation. And the second one, we have lexical processing. Input representation during speech processing make a contact with the internally stored lexical representation in the lexical processing. And the third one, we have the sentential processing. In the sentential processing, three-component sentence comprehension will be paired. The first one is extracting the syntactic structure and the semantic representation of a sentence, interpreting the representation of the preceding linguistics context, and retaining the relevant information in the permanent memory. And the fourth one, we have discourse processing. The discourse processing is listeners are expected to use a variety of strategies to understand the incoming discourse. Okay, next we have vocabulary. Vocabulary is considered by many experts to be a single most important aspect of language comprehension concerns. Also, vocabulary is no longer as a primary classroom focus, something to be taught and tested, but rather something to be acquired incidentally by the students from their surroundings. Okay, there are three factors can affect memory. The first one is input. People generally receive feedback both in oral and in writing. Then they give the interpretation of the inputs as the understanding. And the second one is a retention interval. The process of storing information in memory is short. If the information is considered important and needed to be stored into a long period of time, then the information is sent to a long memory. And the third one is output. At the output phase, there are two ways to use: recognition and recall. In general, recognition is easier than recall because the recognition is the calling process of memory by asking someone to recognize an object that has been given previously. According to Jarwa Wijojo in 2005, the study of memory raises the existence of two kinds of memory encompassing. The first one is short-term memory and the second one is long-term memory. And the second difference, according to an American psychologist, William James, short-term memory only lasts for a few seconds or minutes, while long-term memory lasts for a long day, week, month, or even could be for a lifetime. Okay everyone, thank you for your attention. I hope this video will give you more knowledge about language comprehension in psycholinguistics. God bless you all.